coexistence. Crude limits Nigeria's refining capacity 62%, says federal government. Hong Kong fire death toll rises to 146. Messi sets new record with 405 assists. Yul reunites with Link, Rita, Edochie. River State Police Command has arrested car-snatching syndicates in the state after a team of operatives from the command's C-41 intelligence unit arrested two suspects, Abubakar Abdul Salam and Shagari Shehu, in connection with theft of two vehicles. A statement signed by the command's PPRO, SP Grace Irene Coco, said the operatives swiftly acted on credible and reliable information, leading to the arrest of the suspects, who were found in possession of the stolen vehicles. The recovered vehicles include a white Toyota Hilux and an ash-colored Toyota Corolla, and the vehicles are in police custody for discreet investigation. The suspects are currently undergoing in-depth investigation to unravel the circumstances surrounding the theft and the suspects' individual involvement. The Commissioner of Police, Rivers State CP Olugbenga A. Adepoju, commends the efforts of the operatives and appreciates the public's continued support in the fight against crime, and also reassured the public of its commitment to maintaining law and order, and urges anyone with information on similar crimes to come forward and assist the police in its investigations. Delta State Police Command has arrested one Lucky Matthew and launched a manhunt over the killing of retired Justice Ifeoma Okogu. The police spokesperson for the Delta State Command, SP Bright Edafe, disclosed this in a statement released on Sunday in Asaba, the state capital. He said, following the directive of the Commissioner of Police, Delta State, CP Olufemi Abaniwanda, the case has been transferred to the State Criminal Investigation Department Homicide Section for discreet investigation, adding that CP Olufemi Abaniwanda condoled with the family of the deceased and assured them of justice, while appealing to anyone with useful information to come forward and assist the investigation. In a separate development, the command arrested two suspects and rescued 7 boys who were held against their will by an internet fraud group known as Hustlers Kingdom in the Warri area of the state. While in a video posted on X, Edafe said the command received the complaints from one of the boys on November 17, claiming that he was deceived into the apartment. Abia State government has introduced electric buses into its transport system, which are designed to ensure passenger safety, provide affordable transport fares for citizens, and achieve zero smoke emissions. The Commissioner for Transport, Chimeze Ukaibu, who disclosed this in Umuahia while delivering his address at the Abia Tokie Investment Summit and Product Exhibition, said the introduction of AI-driven traffic lights and the construction of modern bus terminals in Umuahia was aimed at restoring order in the state's towns and delivering more efficient services to residents. Okwaibu said the state has taken delivery of 20 electric buses and is expecting an additional 20 within a few days, with the bus terminals already in place, adding that the ministry would prioritize expanding access for persons with disabilities. He also said bus terminals across the state would be equipped with integrated ticketing systems, retail outlets, and upgraded security networks to ensure the convenience and safety of passengers. Abia State Governor Alex Oti has visited Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the convicted leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra at the Sokoto Correctional Center. Kanu's special counsel, Aloy Ejimako, and Prince Emmanuel Kanu, who disclosed the developments in separate posts on their Facebook pages, thanked the governor for fulfilling the promise he made and described him as a man of his words. This is coming after Kanu's sentencing to life imprisonment, and Governor Oti has said plans were in motion to secure the release of the IPOB leader from prison. Ogun State Governor Dapo Abiodun says culture, when properly harnessed, was the potential to become a major source of foreign exchange for the country. The governor made the remark at the 39th Akesan Day celebration held at the Christ Apostolic Church Grammar School in Peru, Remo, in Ikenne local government area of the state, adding that many countries around the world have diversified their economies through culture and tourism. According to Abiodun, the country stands to benefit immensely if its numerous cultural festivals are fully developed and promoted, adding that culture not only promotes shared identity and social harmony, but also instills values such as unity, honesty, and communal responsibility as key ingredients for societal development. He reaffirmed his administration's commitment to promoting culture, preserving history, and supporting community development across Ogun State, and also commended President Bola Tinubu for his efforts to revive the nation's economy through reforms, while assuring that Ogun State would continue to align with federal government for the benefit of the people. Benue State Police Command has arrested 3 officials of the National Union of Road Transport Workers, Katsina Ala branch, over their alleged role in a crash that claimed the lives of 9 passengers. The spokesperson for the state command, DSP Udeme Edit, who disclosed this in a statement on Sunday, said the incident occurred along Katsina Ala Highway while the NURTW officials allegedly blocked the highway, causing severe traffic disruption and triggered the fatal crash. The statement said the Benue State Command strongly warns against the unlawful obstruction of public highways following a tragic multiple vehicle accident that claimed 9 lives and left several others injured on 28 November 2025 along Katsina Ala Highway. Edet said the suspect would be prosecuted upon completion of investigation, adding that the command frowns upon blocking highways and described such acts as criminal offenses that endanger public safety and will attract decisive legal consequences. The Benue State Police Command therefore urged all road users and transport operators to prioritize safety, obey traffic regulations, and avoid actions that endanger lives, and also expressed empathy to the affected families and assured them that the law would be enforced firmly to prevent future tragedies. Suspected armed bandits on Sunday attacked a church service in Ejiba, a community in Yagba West local government area of Kogi State, abducting several worshippers. The attack reportedly occurred at a newly established Cherubim and Seraphim Church, a community-based news outlet, and church members dispersed in fear as the assailants advanced, but the church leader, popularly known as Orlando, his wife, and several others were taken away during the assault. The incident triggered widespread panic as worshippers fled the church, adding to growing security concerns across parts of Kogi State. Over 200 parents of students and teachers abducted from St. Mary's Catholic School in Papiri, Aguara local government area of Niger State, have expressed frustration over the seizure of their loved ones who are still in the captivity of the abductors. This is coming after the school was attacked by armed bandits on November 21, when about 315 people, including 303 students and 12 staff members, were abducted and taken into captivity. And after a few days in November 23rd, while about 50 students escaped and were reunited with their parents, leaving a total of 253 people still in captivity. The parents who gathered at the school to register their names as directed by the Niger State government pleaded with the state government and relevant stakeholders to help rescue their children and teachers from the clutches of their captors, and many of their parents were in tears and carrying placards with various inscriptions that cried the continued captivity of the children, saying that so far the state government is yet to visit or send a representative to commiserate with the families. Earlier The Diocesan Director of Communication, Reverend Father Stephen Okafor, said the registration process was necessary as directed by the government. And while addressing the parents, the Catholic Bishop of Kontagora Diocese, Reverend Bulus Dawa Yohana, expressed hope that the abductees would soon regain their freedom, adding that the school serves over 50 communities within and outside Aguara local government area, and bringing the parents together for registration was not an easy task. Kaduna State Governor Obas Sani, the Minister of Defense Mohammed Badaro, federal lawmakers and top security chiefs have stressed the need for practical, coordinated solutions to insecurity in the Northwest. They made the call during the public hearing of the Northwest Zonal Security Summit held in Kaduna, and the summit was convened by the Senate Ad Hoc Committee on National Security with the theme Building Robust Regional Collaborations to Tackle Insecurity, Pathways for Securing the Future. The summit was attended by members of the Senate Committee on National Insecurity, retired military and police chiefs, and traditional rulers, as well as civil society organizations from across the zone. While fresh waves of attacks, including mass school abductions, have heightened public concern in the northern parts of the country in recent times. This is coming after last week, armed men invaded the Government Girls Comprehensive Secondary School, Maga, in Kebbi State, abducting 26 students and killing the vice principal who attempted to resist, while over 300 students and staff were seized by bandits who stormed St. Mary's Catholic Primary and Secondary School in Paperi, Niger State. In his address, Sani called for a new security architecture built on military strength, community engagement, and long-term development, and also proposed the creation of a Northwest Theater Command that would merge the Army's 1st and 8th Divisions under a unified structure. Nigerian Air Force (NAF) said its airstrikes have killed several terrorists across the northwest and northeast Nigeria. Air Commodore Ehimen Ejodame, Director of Public Relations and Information Headquarters, Nigerian Air Force, in a statement, said the success followed an intelligence-driven air interdiction. According to the statement, in Katsina State, NAF aircraft executed 2 coordinated strikes on 27 November 2025, adding that the first strike, launched at about 0630 hours, targeted the fortified base of a notorious terrorist kingpin linked to serial kidnappings, violent attacks, and livestock rustling across Kankara, Faskari, and Malumfashi local government areas. According to it, a second strike at about 1755 hours hit another major terrorist enclave in Danfako, Faskari local government area, destroying logistics hubs, structures, equipment, and operational infrastructure, just as several terrorists were killed, while further degrading their networks and denying them safe havens across the northwest. According to the statement, the operations underscore the NAF's unwavering commitment to destroy threats, as well as restoring security and safeguarding the lives and properties of citizens, with the assurance and resolve to continue collaborating with ground forces and other security agencies to restore peace to every part of the country. Troops of the 6th Brigade of the Nigerian Army operating under Operation Peace Shield have successfully repelled an attack by armed bandits following a communal clash in Usmanu village, Karim Lamido local government area of Taraba State. According to a post shared on X on Sunday by security analyst Sagozola Makama, the clash between the Shomo and Wakun communities led to the burning of 15 houses before soldiers were deployed to the area. According to Makama, the troops killed 4 bandits and recovered 1 fabricated AK-47 rifle, special ammunition, and 2 magazines, and also arrested 1 key suspect believed to be working with the armed group. The suspect is currently undergoing further investigation while clearance operations continue in the area, adding that the morale and fighting efficiency of the troops remained high throughout the operation. Suspected bandits late Saturday night attacked Yankamaye village in Sanyawa local government area of Kano State, killing an elderly woman and abducting 3 residents. The incident was thrown has thrown the community into panic as many residents were asleep when the armed men stormed the area. State Police Public Relations Officer Abdullahi Haruna Kiyawa, who confirmed the incidents, said the operatives had already been deployed to track down the attackers, adding that the gunmen reportedly arrived on motorcycles, parking at the outskirts of the village before proceeding on foot to avoid early detection. The attackers also raided another house and abducted 2 women, including the sister-in-law of the ward councillor, while security operatives combed nearby forests and the beach to rescue the victims and apprehend the assailants. 7 kidnapped victims have been rescued by troops of Operation Mesa under the 3 Brigade of the Nigerian Army during a late-night operation in Tanyawa local government area of Kano State, following a distress call received from residents of Yankamaye Sekingari, who reported bandit activity in the community. The rescue operation was launched by the troops. A statement issued on Sunday by the Assistant Director, Army Public Relations, Captain Babatunde Zubairu, said the troops, working in conjunction with personnel of the Nigerian Air Force and the police, swiftly moved to the area, engaged the bandits and freed the victims. The attackers, according to Zubairu, had killed a 60-year-old woman before the troops arrived, while the soldiers pursued the armed men after the initial contact along their withdrawal route toward Remaye and engaged them with what he described as a high volume of fire, forcing them to abandon the captives. The 3 Brigade troops were commended by the commander for their bravery and swift response and enjoined residents to support security agencies with credible and timely information to gather ongoing operations aimed at eliminating banditry in border communities. Kano State Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf has reaffirmed that justice, fairness and accountability must remain in the foundation of governance, insisting that no society can truly develop without a strong and functional rule of law. Speaking at the annual dinner and award night organized by CREED, where he was named Best Governor of the Year, the governor said the relationship between law and society becomes meaningful only when the justice system is accessible, effective and fair to all citizens, regardless of background or status. Represented by the Kano State Attorney General Abdul Karim Maude, Governor Yusuf, who served as guest speaker at the event themed Law and Society, Leadership Infrastructural Development, Pursuit of Good Governance, said his administration had introduced sweeping reforms to tackle prolonged detention, delayed trials, and poor access to legal representation in the state's council centers. He said State custodial centers, he said the reforms were part of a broader agenda to safeguard fundamental rights and reinforce due process, adding that the state was expanding legal aid services, formalizing volunteer support and integrating pro bono networks into the justice system because justice should never depend on wealth or influence. Yusuf also said his administration has strengthened transparency and due process and also blocked financial leakages and prioritized accountability across government operations. Sokoto State Police Command has dismantled a suspected cult network known as Sai Malam and uncovered the WhatsApp-based recruitment channel used to lure young people into the group. A statement by the command's spokesperson, Ahmed Rufai, said 3 suspects, including the alleged coordinator, Usman Shuaibu, were arrested late Friday during a sting operation carried out by the anti-kidnapping unit, following what he described as credible intelligence. According to the police, the group had been quietly expanding across parts of the state, using a WhatsApp group called Red Chamber to recruit and indoctrinate unsuspecting youths. Investigators said the suspects admitted they were initiated through the digital platform, which officers believe was deliberately created to draw young people into harmful activities under the guise of secret powers and group loyalty. The Commissioner of Police, Ahmed Musa, said the operation was in direct response to rising public concern and warned that criminal groups are increasingly exploiting social media to influence and mislead young people, stressing that a manhunt is underway for additional members of the network who fled during the operation. assuring residents that further arrests are expected. Troops of Operation Hadinkai have rescued 12 teenage girls abducted by Boko Haram, a swap terrorist in Musa district of Askira Uba local government area of Borno State. A statement posted on its official Facebook page on Sunday, the Nigerian Army said the victims had been evacuated to a secure facility where they are receiving comprehensive medical care. According to the statement, the victims aged between 15 and 20 were kidnapped on 23rd November while harvesting crops on their farmlands, and the rescued girls had been moved to a secure military facility where they are receiving comprehensive medical care. Psychological support and the briefing. Federated Association of Zamfara State Students has appealed to the federal and Zamfara state governments to intensify and sustain efforts to tackle the insecurity bedeviling the state. The outgoing national president of FAMZAMS, Nasser Gamajiwa, who made the plea during a press conference in Gusau, highlighted the critical role of both tiers of government in addressing banditry and kidnapping that have ravaged the state. While applauding the efforts already made, he called for greater coordination among stakeholders, especially security agencies, to restore law and order, peaceful living among citizens. The student leader regretted that several members of the union had fallen victim of insecurity, while the association under his administration has unified students group to form a single federated union for stronger collective representation. Gamagiwa highlighted challenges confronting the union, including logistics, limited funds, and inadequate scholarships for programs beneficial to students. Jigawa State Police Command has celebrated 70 years of women in the Nigeria Police Force with free medical outreach and a walk against sexual and gender-based violence across the state, adding that the anniversary marks 7 decades of courage and service and the contributions of female officers to national security since their formal entry into the force. The event held at the ultra-modern market in Dusi, the Jigawa state capital, was led by the Excellence Commissioner of Police in charge of medical services, ACP Dr. Adebayo Oluwatoyin Oladeselu, who represented the Commissioner of Police, CP Dahiru Mohammed. Speaking at the event, ACP Oladeselu highlighted the significant impact of women in policing, saying, "Women have continued to play an invaluable role in policing, community engagement, and national development." She commended their 7 decades of service, adding that the anniversary underscores the strength female officers bring to the force, and the medical outreach and sensitization activities were designed to boost trust and confidence between the police and local communities, adding that such programs enhance police public relations and support community health. Oladeselu reaffirmed the command's commitment to protecting vulnerable groups, saying the anti-SGBV walk demonstrates the Nigeria Police Force's demonstration to protect vulnerable groups while also promoting gender inclusion and resident safety under CP Dahiru Mohammed's leadership. You're watching the Global News and Atlantic Television Network. We will be back after this break. Please stay with us.
You dey mind am? Me when I leave my house for Lagos, come go celebrate with am for Dallas. I reach there now, they take me make yeye. They go put me for one yeye corner. Hey, me, I'm a boy. All for no cake globe trotter. Hey, even self the pilot then they announce say I dey for them flight now, and you know say one of them say come meet me, tell me say make her come follow them sit down for cockpit, make we fly the plane together. Sure. This na the 3rd time today when Glow don serve me. Oh. So you want make me come up for line now, make you for run go buy your Glow Talk Master, eh?
Free in Glow Talk Master. Talk for 6 minutes and get 6 minutes free. Plus 50 megabytes of data. Free. Dial *606#. 2,000 naira for new customers. 1,000 naira for voice. Plus 1,000 naira for data. Glow.
Welcome back. This is the Global News and Atlantic Television Network. Now to the rest of our stories. President Bola Tinubu says restoring peace, strengthening national security and improving economic opportunities remain the central priorities of his administration. The president's message was delivered in Lokoja on Sunday at the memorial of former Kogi State Governor Prince Abubakar Audu by the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris. A statement signed by his media aide, Rabiu Ibrahim, said the federal government under Tinubu is fully committed to confronting threats to national stability, adding that the recently declared state of emergency on national security represents a renewed push to expand manpower, modernize intelligence, and implement strategic reforms, including the advancement of state police, stressing that reforming the security structure is key to achieving lasting peace. Tinubu said the federal government is intensifying diplomatic engagements to counter false narratives about Nigeria's religious harmony, adding that through the social investment programs, his administration aims to strengthen support for vulnerable citizens, small businesses, and young people. President Bola Tinubu has received Kebbi State Governor Nasser Idris at the State House, Abuja, where both men reviewed security operations in North, West, and the rescue of peoples abducted in Kebbi earlier this month. After the closed-door meeting, Idris said the talk centered on the successful rescue of students seized from Government Girls Comprehensive Secondary School, Maga, Danko, Wasago local government area on November 17, and also commended Minister of State for Defense Bello Matawale for coordinating the mission. According to the governor, federal security and intelligence agencies mobilized on Tinubu's orders leading to the girls' rescue on November 26 and their formal handover to families at Government House, Benin, Kebbi. Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project have filed a lawsuit against the Senate President Godswill Akpabio and the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, over the alleged failure to account for 18.6 billion naira reportedly allocated for the construction of the National Assembly Service Commission office complex. Serap filed the suit at the Federal High Court in Abuja last week, naming Akpabio and Abbas as defendants on behalf of all members of the National Assembly and joining the NASC as a respondent. A statement signed on Sunday by its Deputy Director, Kolawole Oluwadari, Serap said the suit followed grave allegations contained in the 2022 annual report of the Auditor General of the Federation, published on September 9, 2025, while details from the Auditor General's report said the National Assembly Service Commission paid over 11.6 billion naira to an unknown construction company for the construction of the Commission's complex within 24 months. According to Serap, the Auditor General fears the 18.6 billion naira budgeted for the construction of the Commission's office complex and the conversion of the roof garden to office space may have been diverted, misappropriated or stolen, and wants the money accounted for. Serap argued that the alleged diversion of misappropriation of the 18.6 billion naira amounts to a violation of public trust, which is contrary to the 1999 Constitution and international anti-corruption standards, adding that the National Assembly must uphold and defend the basic principles of transparency, accountability, and the rule of law. No date has been fixed for the hearing of the suit. Senate President Godswill Akpabio says he is the most ranked Christian in government and attributed his political rise to the special grace of God, urging Nigerians to remain steadfast in serving God regardless of their position in life. Akpabio spoke during the blessing and official opening of the Regina Coeli Parish Rectory in Uyo, Akwa Ibom State, an event attended by top clerics and political leaders. A statement issued in Abuja by his special assistant on media, Jackson Odom, said Akpabio's journey from obscurity to the nation's number 3 position was a testament to God's favor and urged Nigerians to remain committed to service in the house of God, stressing that even the smallest contribution to church projects carries divine reward. The Senate President also disclosed plans to unveil a new worship center within the National Assembly complex in Abuja. And at the Uyo ceremony, the Catholic Bishop of Uyo, Most Reverend John Aya, commended the Senate President and his wife, Dr. Unoma Akpabio, for their supports to the church, including hosting Catholic bishops nationwide in Ikot Ekpene last September, while urging Akpabio to ignore detractors. Akpabio's testimony comes amid renewed attention on Senate unity following claims of attempted leadership plots. Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has criticized the Bola Tinubu administration over reports that the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited spent 17.5 trillion naira in 1 year on securing fuel pipelines, describing that the development as unprecedented and alarming. A statement issued by the Atiku Media Office on Sunday said the revelation stands as one of the most brazen financial scandals in the nation's history and urged that the Tinubu government had channeled almost the same amount in a single year into opaque security contracts. Atiku also questioned the administration's justification for subsidy removal, stating that Nigerians were told to tighten their belts, endure hardship and make sacrifices, and further argued that no administration that presides over the level of fiscal recklessness and the moral authority to demand sacrifice from its people. Atiku demanded an immediate forensic audit and full disclosure of all companies involved, saying the government must publish the full list of companies awarded these contracts, disclose the scope, deliverables, and duration of each contract, subject the entire 17.5 trillion naira expenditure to an independent forensic audit, and warned that there should be no further disbursement until accountability is established to Nigerians on how the expenditure aligns with national priorities at a time of unprecedented economic strangulation. Atiku also described the alleged spending as a severe moral breach, stressing that the 17.5 trillion naira pipeline security expenditure is not merely a financial anomaly, but also a morally indictment on the Tinubu administration and a clarion call for full accountability. People's Democratic Party has dismissed the call by a former Jigawa State Governor, Sule Lamido, for the dissolution of the new National Working Committee and the appointment of a caretaker leadership. The party said Lamido's proposal contradicted the party's constitution and could not stand while ongoing court cases remained unresolved. This is coming after Lamido had on Thursday issued a 10-day ultimatum to the party's leadership to resolve its internal crisis after dragging the PDP to court over the national convention held in Ibadan, Oyo State, in mid-November. And while addressing his supporters at his Sharada office in Kano, Lamido called for the dissolution of the NWC and the immediate formation of a national caretaker committee for the party. He said Umar Damagum and Samuel Ayan will remain the legitimate chairman and secretary of the party until their tenure expires on December 8, 2025. But reacting, the National Publicity Secretary of PDP, produced by the Ibadan Convention, INI, Mmemobong, said it is surprising that Lamido, who originally chose to take his grievances to court instead of using the party's internal conflict resolution channels, is now urging the party to rely on internal mechanisms to resolve the same issue. Mmemobong said Lamido's position was against the current legal reality, while several factions have already secured different court judgments, all of which are now before the Court of Appeal, stressing that the PDP constitution does not provide for a national caretaker committee, and the party cannot create one while the appellate court is handling appeals that have already been entered. Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has seized the international passports of former Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Mr. Abubakar Malami, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. EFCC said on Sunday that the seizure was part of an ongoing investigation into the whereabouts of an alleged $490 million Abacha loot secured through a mutual legal assistance MLAT request, and Malami was barred from leaving Nigeria for the next month. According to the source, one of the conditions for his release on Saturday was that he should report daily to the EFCC headquarters in Abuja for further interrogations, while Malami described the allegation as fabricated, stressing that the truth would soon unfold. The Commission cited the large volume of documents he must review and the need for extensive interview as reasons for seizing his passport, adding that the EFCC would not engage in a war of words but would release its findings after a thorough investigation. In a post on X, Malami called the allegations fabricated and thanked God for divine intervention. Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors has suspended its 29-day nationwide strike after the federal government met part of its demands and also warned that it would resume industrial action if the remaining conditions are not fulfilled within the agreed timeline. The Secretary General of NARD, Dr. Shuaibu Ibrahim, said the strike, which began on November 1, 2025, was suspended following deliberations at an extraordinary National Executive Council meeting held on Saturday, adding that the association will not hesitate to resume industrial action if the federal government fails to meet the remaining demands with the agreed timeframe. This is coming after health services were severely disrupted nationwide during the strike, as about 11,000 resident doctors across 91 teaching hospitals withdrew their services in poor protest over poor working conditions and unpaid allowances. The association had set the conditions required to suspend the strike, which include the reinstatement of the Lokoja doctors, the release of the professional allowance table, the payment of promotion and salary arrears in specific hospitals, as well as the implementation of an upgrade for doctors who passed Part 1 exams and entry-level requirements, including the implementation of a specialist allowance and the resolution of the membership certificate issue. National Examinations Council has granted accreditation to schools in Burkina Faso to host its examinations, widening its international footprint. A statement issued to newsmen in Abuja on Sunday by the Council's Acting Director of Information and Public Relations, Aziz Sani, said the Council would now begin to conduct the Senior School Certificate examination and the Basic Education Certificate examination in the West African country. According to him, the move follows a comprehensive assessment visit by an NECO accreditation team to selected schools in the West African country, and the expansion into Burkina Faso's underscored NECO's commitment to delivering quality education and assessment services beyond Nigeria's borders. He recalled the recent establishment of an examination center in London, United Kingdom, adding to existing centers in Togo, Benin Republic, Niger Republic, Equatorial Guinea, Cote d'Ivoire, and Saudi Arabia. Meanwhile, Nigeria's ambassador to Burkina Faso, Ambassador M.D. Galadima, commended NECO for the expansion, describing it as a relief for Nigerian families in the country, adding that parents had long grappled with challenges arising from their differences in educational systems and the lack of English language schools. Nigerian Education Loan Fund has disbursed 140.9 billion naira in students' loan to beneficiaries since the scheme's portal was launched on May 24, 2024, according to the daily status report released on Saturday via its official X handle. NEL Fund has received 1,193,228 applications, over which 788,947 students have benefited from the program, and as of November 12, 2025, the report shows 35,773 new successful applications for the week and 3,367 on that day, representing a 0.3% increase in new applications from the previous day. The managing director of NEL Fund, Akitunde Sawyer, who disclosed this in Abuja, said the extension aligns with the federal government's broader education skills development agenda, and the move reflects President Bola Tinubu's commitment to inclusive human capital development beyond traditional university education. And now to our business news. Federal government, through its Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, says Nigeria's midstream and downstream petroleum sector remains hampered by low refinery utilization, despite a combined installed capacity of 1.125 million barrels per day. According to the NMDPRA's October 2025 fact sheet seen on the state of the midstream and downstream sector, the country recorded only 61.58% refinery utilization between Q1 and Q3 2025, a performance the regulator linked to technical constraints, crude supply limitations across refineries, and repeated downtime at government refineries. The NMDPRA said 47 licenses are to establish a cumulative capacity of 1.75 million barrels per day, and that have been issued since 2000, while 31 licenses is to construct facilities representing 1.228 million barrels per day of planned capacity. While the figures highlight the widening gap between Nigeria's refining ambitions and actual production output. Despite years of licensing activities and heavy investments, the National Publicity Secretary of the Crude Oil Refinery Owners Association of Nigeria, Eche Idoko, highlighted that the gap in operational capacity, which is not solely affected by funding but by technical challenges, of which crude guarantee is a huge challenge. While the Koran president, Momo Oyarekwa, argued that the PIA, though designed to support local refining, had further complicated crude supply arrangements through conflicting clauses. Nigeria National Petroleum Company Limited recorded a strong financial outing in October 2025 with 5.07 trillion in revenue and 447 billion naira profit after tax. This is coming after crude oil and condensate production slid to the lowest level in 10 months. On the National Oil Company, in its latest monthly performance report, while the country pumped 1.58 million barrels per day of crude oil and condensate in October, slipping down from 1.61 mbpd in September and marking the lowest monthly output so far in 2025. NNPC, however, said production recovery efforts were ongoing across its joint venture and production sharing contract assets, with industry-wide collaboration intensifying to stabilize output in its public impact highlight. The report captured the NNPC Foundation's financial literacy initiative at the NYSC Kubwa Orientation Camp, adding that over 1 million core members had been reached under the 2025 program. To our international tidbits. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has submitted a request for a pardon to the country's President Isaac Herzog. The president's office said Herzog would receive opinions from justice officials before considering the extraordinary request, which carries with it significant implications. Netanyahu has been standing trial, for the past 5 years on charges of bribery, fraud, and breach of trust in connection with 3 suspects' cases and had denied any wrongdoing. This is coming after, in 2020, Benjamin Netanyahu became the first 7 Israeli prime minister to stand trial, and in the first case, prosecutors alleged that he received gifts, mainly cigars and bottles of champagne, from powerful businessmen in exchange for favors, and was also accused in a second case of offering to help improve the circulation of media for positive coverage. And in a third, prosecutors have alleged that he promoted regulatory decisions favorable to the controlling shareholder of an Israeli telecoms company in exchange for positive coverage by a news website. While Netanyahu has pleaded not guilty to all the charges and branded the trial as a witch hunt by political opponents. U.S. police say 4 people were killed and 10 wounded in a shooting at a family gathering in California. The shooting took place inside a banquet hall in Stockton, northeast of San Francisco, just before 6 p.m., while San Joaquin County Sheriff's Office spokesperson Heather Brent said the shooting was limited. The sheriff's office said in a post on social media that detectives were working to determine the circumstances leading up to this tragedy, while California Governor Gavin Newsom had been briefed on the shooting in a post on social media. There have been 504 mass shootings in the United States so far this year, including the Stockton incident. About 146 people have died in a devastating fire that tore through multiple high-rise buildings in Hong Kong, police said. The death toll cannot rule out the possibility of further fatalities, while 79 are injured and 150 remain missing. And 7 of 8 tower blocks in housing in the northerly Tai Po district rapidly went up in flames, and the fire was helped by flammable materials on the outside of the building, has sparked anger and concern. Thousands are gathering at the Wang Fok Courts complex on Sunday, to mourn the victims, with the queues stretching to almost 2 kilometers, and the death toll has been rising since the fire began, as officials work to recover and identify bodies. The exact cause of the blaze has yet to be determined, but 8 people have been arrested on suspicion of corruption over the renovations that had been taking place on the towers, while 3 others were detained on manslaughter charges. Police official Sang Shong Yin said on Sunday that officers had so far completed searches of 4 of the tower blocks, while Indonesia's consulate in Hong Kong said at least 7 of its nationals have died from the fire, while the Philippines consulate claimed 1 of its citizens had died. The fire department said the fire reached a peak temperature of 500 Celsius, and the fire spread quickly across the separate blocks due to the presence of plastic netting and other flammable materials on the outside of the buildings. Death toll from flooding and landslides on Indonesia's Sumatra island has risen dramatically to 442 victims, while the total passed 300 early on Sunday, with evacuation efforts underway. Major routes cut off and internet and electricity only partially restored. Monsoons exacerbated by tropical storms have caused some of the worst flooding in years across South and East Asia, while hundreds are dead and missing in Malaysia and Thailand as well, with millions affected across the region. The official death toll in Thailand currently sits at 170, with 2 deaths reported in Malaysia's northern Peru state, while there have been nearly 160 deaths in Sri Lanka due to a bout of particularly extreme weather that has caused flooding and mudslides. Aerial footage shows severe flooding across southern Asia after torrential rains. Ukrainian naval drones hit 2 oil tankers from Russia's so-called Shadow Fleet as they traveled through the Black Sea. Ukrainian officials said footage verified shows waterborne drones speeding through the waves into the vessels before detonating into a ball of flame, sending black smoke into the air. The targeted tankers were named by Turkish authorities as the Kairos and Virat, both flagged to the Gambia and were hit off the Turkish coast with a Virat strike, but no casualties were reported. The attackers appear to be an escalation by Kyiv as it tries to hit Russian oil revenues, which are critically for funding its war in Ukraine. The Ukrainian delegation is expected to meet U.S. officials in Florida on Sunday. Steve Witkoff, while U.S. President Donald Trump's overseas envoy, will hold talks in Moscow next week. And now to our sports news. Lionel Messi has become the player with the most assists in football history. The Argentine recorded the 405th of his career in the Inter Milan's MLS Cup semi-final win over New York City on Sunday. The 8-time Ballon d'Or winner set up Matteo Silvetti in the 67th minute as Inter Miami cruised to a 5-1 victory to clinch the Eastern Conference title, and the result set up set up a clash between Inter Miami and Western Conference champions Vancouver in the MLS Cup final on Saturday, December 6. Messi had earlier drawn level with Hungarian legend Ferenc Puskás before surpassing him with his latest assist. West Ham's legendary former captain and manager Billy Bonds has died at 79. Premier League club said on Sunday that Bonds is West Ham's longest-serving player, having made 799 appearances across a 21-year career with the East London club. He lifted the FA Cup twice in 1975 and 1980, reached the 1976 European Cup Winners' Cup final, and won the old second division with the Hammers. After moving into coaching, initially with the West Ham youth team, Bonds was appointed manager in February 1990, and he secured promotion from the second division in 1991, and after relegation from the top flight in 1992, led the club to promotion again a year later. Bonds left the Hammers in 1994 when he was replaced in the manager's job by his assistant, Harry Redknapp, and voted the club's greatest ever player. Bonds has a stand named in his honor at the London Stadium. West Ham confirmed there would be a period of appreciation to honor Bonds ahead of Sunday's Premier League home game against Liverpool. The Tigers suffered the first ever defeat to Guinea, falling 69-55 in the qualifiers for the 2027 FIBA World Cup on Saturday at the Saleh Omnisports, the Reds in Tunisia. Guinea dominated the encounter from start to finish, outplaying the Nigerian team in what turned out to be a largely one-sided contest that marked the first victory over the Tigers in 4 attempts, dating back to 1985. Suleiman Baum Jr. and Shannon Evans combined 40 points to lead Guinea to a perfect 2-0 start in the opening round for the African qualifiers. The defeat comes after the Tigers' opening day loss to hosts Tunisia on Thursday, leaving coach Abdulrahman Mohamed's side with a mountain to climb in the qualification series. Actor Yul Edochie has finally reconciled with his elder brother Link Edochie and his aunt Rita Edochie. The reunion took place at a family event attended by members of the Edochie clan. This is coming after Yul had criticized Link on social media in 2024 that the elder advised him to take his controversial marriage with Judy Austin offline. Following the public exchange, the brothers unfollowed each other on social media. Meanwhile, Rita Edochie had frequently criticized Judy Austin, accusing her of snatching Yul from his legal wife, May Edochie. And that's the global news for tonight. Before we go, another look at the major stories. Rivers State Police Command arrests suspected car snatchers. Suspected bandits abduct pastor worshippers in Kogi State. Tinubu pledges to restore peaceful coexistence. Crude limits Nigeria's refining capacity 62%. Hong Kong fire death toll rises to 146. Messi sets new record with 405 assists. You reunites with Link and Rita Edochie. I am Francis Neka. Thank you for watching. You can follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, now X, at Atlantic TV Net, Facebook and YouTube at Atlantic Television Network, on Instagram at Atlantic TV Network. Remember, peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Thank you for watching.